Hi, I'm Misty Purcell. I am the designer and fabric dyer at Luminous Fiber Arts. Today is Friday, the 2nd of October, and it's hard to believe that it's already October. Time has flown. So welcome, and thanks for coming back if you've been here before, and thanks for visiting me if you're new here. This is Flosstube number 60. When I started, I had no idea that I would have 60 videos, and just kind of amazing that it's been going for so long, and I really appreciate all of you who've been with me since the beginning and who have joined me since then. Thank you for your comments, and I really appreciate them. I enjoyed your comments on my last video. I had a giveaway on my last video for a PDF of Gathering Berries, and the winner was contacted and she received her copy. Let's see. I often get questions about what needlework frames I use. I don't think I have anything I'm showing in this video that's on, looks like not, that's on a frame. But I always put an FAQ in the description below the video, so that if you're wondering like what the scroll rods are that I'm showing or whatever, then that's all there for you. So I'll continue to post that, but this particular video I don't have anything on scroll rods or any kind of frame. Okay. I made a video recently about stitching with 2 strands of floss on linen. Thank you so much for all of the nice comments I received on that video. I had a couple requests about doing a video with pin stitch. I showed it in the video, but that wasn't actually the point of the video. So I'm definitely interested in doing that, and it's just a question of when I'll have the time. So I will do one. That might be like a stitch with me video if I can get the camera into a position where I can actually stitch for a period of time. The camera was good for seeing what I was doing for you, but not for me, so I have to tweak that a little bit. Okay, I have some FFOs. Some of them are cross stitch and one of them is not. If you don't know, I'm a multi-crafter, so sometimes I use my other crafty skills to make things because I enjoy doing that. Oh, by the way, the hutch has been Halloweenified because I love Halloween and fall. I've got my trusty coffee mug today. This is a new one that was a treat from a potter who I follow on Instagram. She's Kiefer Ceramics, and just think her ceramics are beautiful. And so this was not inexpensive, certainly worth what she was charging. I'm sure she put a lot of work into it, but I just had to kind of wait until the timing was right, and then she had some mugs available, so I was able to get one. This is called a squatty mug, and I love it. And I love coffee. Okay, so let's start with the FFOs. This is Sampler Lesson 4 by Plum Street Samplers. I stitched this last year, and I can't remember if I finished it last year or finished it this year, one or the other. This chart was a gift from a friend, and it included the floss. And I think I changed this floss here, but I think that was the only change I made in terms of the floss. This is stitched on 40 count macchiato, which is a fabric that I dye. And I didn't know how I wanted to finish this. I knew I wanted it to be a pillow. I just laid some fabric out and some trims out and started thinking. And then this idea kind of formed. So that's like my process. My process is often kind of messy. I've got this little acorn charm here that I added. I ordered that and I really like it. This fabric is awesome. I love it. And then I had some old grungy mother of pearl buttons that I bought recently at an antique shop in Lewisburg, and added those to it as well. I don't think they have anything else to say about this, except I'm super happy with how it came out. Okay, next is Button Up. So the last time that I saw you, I was getting ready to frame it, and I was feeling pretty good about the frame, and then I got the frame and put the frame on, and then I was like, maybe I did make a mistake. So here it is. And depending on the light, it looks good or fine, and then it looks blah depending on other light, which just goes to tell you, I guess, how your perception of color really changes just by like whether you're natural light, the time of day, whether you have, you know, artificial lighting on. It really makes a difference. It makes a difference with your fabric, your floss. It makes a difference with everything. And usually it doesn't make that much of a difference with a frame, but with this one it does. So I think it looks decent right now in this light. But like I said, at times it just looks like the frame is doing nothing for it, for me. And I'm not sure what I want to do about that. I might, see, I think the wood veneer is super pretty, so I hate to paint over it. But I'm either going to have to paint over it or grow to like it more, or get a different frame and then find something else to put in this frame. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit with it for like a year. So I'll put this out this year and I'm just going to be with it, and then I'll see how I feel next year. This was a long project that I did as a stitch along with lots of people on Instagram, but it was started by Amy of Amy Loves Toads and Helen D and myself. Many of you joined us. Many of you finished before I did. I was kind of at the rear end of the stitch along, as I usually am. This is stitched on 32 count Snow Day, which is a linen that I dye. And I believe I used all of the called for flosses. And I think that's all I have to say about this one. Okay, now this is what's called creative cross training, when you do things that are not related to cross stitch design, but you want to do them. So I tried to like put her hair so that it's on one side, it's like this, and it's kind of blowing back on the other side. This is called Flying Witch, and it's by Chestnut Junction on Etsy. And can you see? This was quite a project. I think I started this in like June of this year, and started sewing the pieces. And so it's not like that any one step is that difficult. It's just that there are a lot of steps to making this. So I sewed them and stuffed them, and then painted and sanded her pieces, and then you grunge her up with this really nice smelling mix of like coffee and cinnamon. But when I did that, one, it was like 90 degrees outside and I had my oven on. It was awful. I mean, this is like a great project for right now. And the only reason I did it in the summer is because that's when I have more time to do this kind of thing. But it wasn't good timing in terms of the temperatures. Anyway, when I was baking her, you can see that there's quite a bit of discoloration on her face, which I wasn't really expecting based on the picture. And maybe there's something about the way that I did this that made it that way. But she looked like death warmed over. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to throw her away, but I tried to keep going. So you embroider everything, you do everything first, and then you go ahead and grunge her up in the oven, baked in the oven to bake off the cinnamon and coffee, the liquid. I ended up throwing her in the dryer. And actually I think that made her look a little bit more old and crusty looking. So you could throw her in the dryer as well. And then you make this little skirt out of ticking. You actually paint these stripes on her legs. Her body is like all one piece. And then, you know, you just sew the arms on. This is roving for her hair. The hat has some floral wire in it to keep it, and you actually like kind of stab it into her head. And then I've attached her, you make the broom out of a dowel and some raffia. Well, actually you make the broom out of a tree branch, but I just didn't feel like bringing nature in. So I did a dowel that I found at Michael's, I think. Anyway, then you make the broom and then you attach her. So I've attached her here and then her arms here. So that was my Halloween craft project for this year, and I'm super happy in the end with how she turned out, even though I thought about throwing her away. So again, that's Chestnut Junction on Etsy, and it's called Flying Witch. Okay, I had a new start and a finish because once I started it, I became obsessed. This is by Prairie Schooler. I kitted this up a few years ago. This is Songs of the Season. As far as I know, this chart is still out of print. I've not seen anything on Hoffman's site saying otherwise. If you're looking for this chart, I would suggest that you send an email to Hoffman so that they know that there's interest and that they should reprint it. If you see this for sale for like $15 on Etsy or eBay, it's probably too good to be true. Check to see if they've sold more of these. If it's just the one, you're probably fine. If they've sold like 15 of these, it's bootleg. Anyway, so I didn't even know quite which one I wanted to start with, but I ended up starting up here. And so I had the fabric for it and the floss all set up. I ended up using the fabric I had bought at the time. I wasn't dyeing fabric back then. And the fabric that I bought was 25 count vintage country mocha because I had wanted to try stitching over one. And so I did. I mean, I've been stitching over one since then, but at the time I really hadn't been. I think this is just awesome. It was very addictive. It is a lot of stitching. Like, this was not fast. I worked on this for hours every day for like a week and a half. And that's a lot of stitching for something that looks so small, but it was quite a lot. But I love it. It's beautiful. I did change the reds in here. There's two reds. There's a lighter red and a darker red. And I felt like the original reds were really orange for me. And for Christmas and my decor, I can only go so orange. It was just too orange for me. So I changed it to DMC 22, and this is 3777. I really like it. It looks really nice on the vintage country mocha. And this was my first time stitching on the 25 count Lugana, and I quite liked it. I have ordered some of this and gotten it in the shop. I don't know if I have any left. I've been posting quite a bit of fabric. It's been selling pretty quickly, so you might be able to find it in my shop right now. It might be sold out. I'll get it in again, so don't worry. Okay, so I will be FFOing that pretty soon. I'm waiting on some jingle bells to come in. I ordered some small ones that are like an antique brass color, some gold, and some copper. I won't use the copper on that, but I just wanted some other small bells, and I think I'm going to put bells possibly on each corner, or at least on the two bottom corners. I'll see how it looks when I get there. I think I know how I want to finish it for the most part, and I think I'm gonna do a pillow finish, pillow ornament. Okay, that was 1 over 1. If I think I said that. Anyway, whips. So I really shouldn't like declare that I have plans ever, because then I don't follow through on them. I change my mind. I have been stitching this, and I'm stitching all of the 3 seasons that they've published on one piece of fabric. So this is summer. My plan had been that on the autumn equinox, I would start autumn, the next one in the series, and I would just kind of scoot over. But I didn't, because I had started Santa from Prairie Schooler, and I was obsessed, and I was like, well, since you're this excited about this, you better just keep going. So I did work on this since last time, but I just didn't start autumn like I intended. The only thing I changed, this is supposed to be, I think, wood trail, and my wood trail is actually not very dark. And the photo the color was more dark. Whether it really was or it was just the photo, I don't know in reality. So I changed this to a darker kind of blackish color, and I don't know if it's a little too stark or not against this brown. So my brown is fairly light. I don't really want to take this out, so I'm a little bit undecided what I want to do. but this is beautiful. I'm happy with it. I'm just not certain about if it's too much. Back here it doesn't look bad, but I guess I'll have to get more of it done to know. This is stitched on 40 count Sparrow, another fabric that I dye. So that's where that is. This is probably just gonna hang out for a while until I feel like stitching on it, which is fine. I am pretty much in the mood for Christmas stitching, and then I'm doing some spring stitching for market. I might do a little bit more fall or Halloween. It just depends on how I feel. Okay, so let me show you my other one. Another Prairie Schooler. This is Autumn Samplers, and I'm stitching that one there. This has been reprinted. Thank goodness. Okay, so let me kind of move these threads out of the way. Here's where I'm at. It's really, really, really pretty. I did not change a single color. It's so awesome. So, after I finish this leaf here, which is a maple leaf, I'm considering putting some text down here and kind of squeezing it in around the squirrels. I've charted it, and I think I'm going to do it, and hopefully it'll blend well enough with what's up here that it'll look like it was originally there, because my goal is not to make it look like me, but to keep it in this style. But so you're just repeating the leaves that are up here down here, which is fine, they're pretty, but the words, there's more to this. This is a poem, a really short poem, and I didn't know that. I always wondered where she got her ideas from. And I came across it on Instagram, and I liked the whole thing. So I want to put the rest of it down here. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Will I do it this year? I mean, do I think I'm going to finish this year? I think probably not. I kind of just work on this in between models. Like if I'm deciding fabric or floss or something and I need a few days to mull or to dye the fabric, then I just work on other things. So it gets time when I have time to give it. Okay, and then one other, I guess it should have been in the new start section, but it's a new start and now it's a whip. And I've shown this on Instagram, but I haven't shown it here. But he didn't have a hat before. So this little guy is made of paper clay. So there's an artist, and her name is Cindy Kopp Waterfield. And she makes these adorable paper clay snowmen. I think her shop is Cat and Fiddle Folk. I might be wrong, but, or else someone else does very similar stuff that's Cat and Fiddle Folk if I'm mistaken. But anyway, I came across her stuff. She does like snowmen in these little vignettes, and I love them for Christmas. And then I came across, I think her name's pronounced Cherie. It's Cherie. I came across her on Instagram, I think last year. Her Instagram name is Sweet Rose and Wren. Wren like the bird. And she made some of those snowmen, and I just about died because they were so cute. And I've been wanting to try paper clay. And she had a really good explanation of how she makes the snowmen. I mean, it didn't go into a lot of detail, but it just gave you tips of how she made the snowmen in her Instagram stories. So if you're on Instagram and you want to check it out, you'll have to go up to her stories and scroll through till you find the one that has a snowman on it. And then she talks about how she made it, and it's pretty straightforward. You're basically buying styrofoam balls and putting the paper clay around them and smoothing it out, letting it dry, and then painting it, putting it together with glue, you know, adding the glitter if you want, and then adding whatever accessories you want. So I made today this tiny hat for him. I swore I was not going to knit him a tiny hat. And then I bought some socks and tried to sew him a hat. And I sewed like a decent looking hat, and I'll probably use it. But then I wanted it to be this green because I'm kind of obsessed with this shade of green right now. And so then I was like, well, I guess I have to knit it. So, you know, I have a lot of yarn and I feel like I have too much because I don't really knit that much anymore. But it's so nice that when I want to knit something, I can usually just go to my stash and pull some yarn and I can start. I don't have to wait for weeks to get something in. So that makes me happy. I found a tutorial. I'll link it. I didn't follow it exactly though, because the hat wasn't quite big enough. So this is Harrisville Shetland that I had in my stash, and I cast on 32 stitches, and then I just kind of loosely followed, but not completely followed the pattern. So I can't even recreate it. I'll have to just fudge it again if I do it again. And then I tacked down the, you end up doing I-cord at the top. So I tacked this part down, and then I made like the world's tiniest yarny pom-pom. I'm so happy because I love tiny stuff. I've never made a pom-pom this small before. And I don't have, like, Clover makes these really nice pom-pom makers, but they don't make them this small. This is like maybe half the size of what they can make. So I watched a YouTube tutorial about making tiny pom-poms with forks. And in the video, they're doing it around the whole fork, but I was like, well, I guess to make it smaller, you would just do 2 tines. So that's what I did. I just wrapped the yarn a lot around 2 tines, and then I gave it some shots of steam so that it would fluff up, and then sewed it on. I love it. So now I'm to the point where I need to, I'm knitting him a scarf right now because, you know, why not? And then I'll be thinking about how I want to display him. I don't know yet. I've got a lot of display items. So what Cherie did is sometimes she put him like on a jar, in a cloche, things like that. I have several things. I have jello molds, like vintage jello molds. I have some bottle brush trees. I ordered a cloche, and I'm just gonna see once I get the scarf done. I'm gonna go through my stuff and figure it out. So I don't know yet quite how I'm gonna display him, but one more time because he's so cute. Oop. So that's my snowman. So I've already started making another one because they're fun. And I'm going to experiment with making it smaller. I've ordered some other sized styrofoam balls, and I'm going to see if it's possible to make them a little smaller. Okay. Oh, I don't think I said that on the autumn sampler. This is stitched on 40 count sparrow, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. So that is all of my stuff. So let me show you what I received in a swap. I do a swap with Helen and Barbie. It's become like an annual tradition for us. So let me show you what awesomeness I received. Okay, so Barbie and Helen and I do an annual kind of fall Halloween swap. It's been a Halloween this year. It's expanded to fall. And they both sent their gifts at the same time, almost like they coordinated it, except that they didn't. And I was almost ready to send theirs. And then I lost Barbie's gift, one of her gifts, and I spent like a week looking everywhere that I could think of that it could be, like twice. It was something I ordered for her, and I'd ordered something for me. It came. I put it somewhere that I thought was obvious that, you know, like this is where the gift goes. Usually I find it. I had to reorder it and send it to Barbie directly because I was like, I don't know, I give up. And then Helen's, you know, I live in Pennsylvania. Helen's package, Helen lives in Maine. It went to Maine, and then it went to Atlanta, and then it went back to Maine. So it took a little detour. Helen sent to me these cute socks that say, "Oh my gourdness." This awesome pillow, which is from one of the hands-on design, I think it's the collaboration between Kathy and Priscilla, if I remember correctly, one of those designs, but I don't remember the name of it, so I'm sorry. It might be one of the Mason Jar series. I love how Helen did these 3 fabrics here with the rickrack. It's super pretty. Really, really nice job, and it's so cute. great fabrics too. She sent a cute card. And she sent, OMG, so cute. Yes, yes, that is. This little needle minder with a raccoon. And then she made me, and that makes me so happy because I need more, an awesome project bag. Isn't that so cute? She picked such great fabrics. Aww. So that's what I received from Helen. And then from Barbie, Barbie just released a new design that's punch needle. Isn't that so cute? I love those colors too. So it's in this little pedestal. That's how she chose to display it. And I just really love it. And then the brick rack around it's really nice. This would be such a cute and quick little project. Punch needle goes really fast. So if you haven't tried punch needle yet, you should use this to try it because you will really like it and it will go very quickly, especially being so small. And this is a great way to display it. So she sent that. And I'm assuming she made this awesome little pumpkin. And I think that you can never have too many pumpkins. And so I'm always buying and collecting more and making more and sending them out to other people because I just think, I don't know, I just love pumpkins. So they make me happy. She sent some trim and these really cute little pins. And then she sent a plethora of buttons, which is awesome because I like to use buttons in my finishing. So thank you, Barbie. And then I sent them each 2 different things. I'll insert a picture of each thing as I talk about them. So to Helen, I sent my design, one of my ornaments from the Haunted design. And I changed the orange to be a little bit more yellow. I used Carrot, I think it was, from Weeks Dye Works. And then I changed the ribbon and I sent her that because Helen likes cats. And then for Barbie, oh, and I stitched that on 40 count macchiato. For Barbie, I had wanted to stitch this for her last year, but last year we were doing the Prairie Schooler stitch along together. So I felt like I should do Prairie Schooler for both of them. But so this year I was like, I am doing this for Barbie, and it's this Lizzie Kate design. And I like the main design, but I love also the tiny version that's in the little watch fob. And so I bought the watch fob like a while ago and I've just had it waiting. And I felt a little intimidated by stitching this tiny thing and sticking it inside of this tiny thing. And it was hilarious when I actually did it because it took like no time. It was the fastest finish I've ever done. So I don't know what I was worrying about. It was also like a pretty quick stitch. I stitched it on 27 count Linda. The model I think was stitched on 25 count. So mine was actually smaller, which was nice in terms of fitting it inside of the watch fob. And I just, you know, they give you a template in with the watch fob, so you just use that to trace. And I have one of those Fiskars plastic things that has a bunch of different size circles, and one of those circles is the same size, so I just use that actually. I traced it out on mat board, I just glued it to the back and then stuck it in the watch fob, closed it up, and stuck a ribbon on it. I mean, it was like truly, I couldn't believe what I was worrying about because it was really like one of the simplest things I've done. So try it, it's fun. So I got another one because I'd like to make one for me as well. Okay. Oh, let me save that. I received a really nice gift and it was a chart that someone was kind enough to send me. Well, I'll show it now, but I'm not going to give it away just yet. So, Jeanette was kind enough to reach out and, say that she had something she wanted to send me, some happy mail, and she sent me this. Just American Strawberries by Prairie Schooler. She has good taste, and I love it. And the only thing is that I already have it because she and I both have good taste. So thank you. It did brighten my day, even though I have it, because it's a really good design. I want to share it with you. She said it was okay to share it with a friend if I already had it. So I won't do it this video, but I will do it in an upcoming video. And I just want to say thank you again, Jeanette. Okay, so now, just a couple things about my shop. I have monthly updates, and I send out a newsletter to let people know when there's fabric lists in the shop. Lately, I've also been able to do some weekly updates where I just, in the morning when I have a spare minute, I put a little bit of my hand-dyed fabric in my Etsy shop. And it might be one color one day for one fabric and then another, you know, it just varies. There's no rhyme or reason to it in terms of like Mondays or whatever, 36 count linen, there's nothing like that. It's just, I go through the fabric I've been dyeing and I put a little bit in the shop so that more people have a chance to buy it. But I still do the monthly updates as well. So I just wanted to let you know about that and tell you that I've got quite a few Zweigart fabrics in. There's a mix of solids and the printed, the ones that are the vintage where they're printed on one side and then they're solid on the other, like the vintage Country Mocha, vintage Stormy Night. I got some vintage Stormy Clouds in. So I want to let you know about that. And just a kind of heads up about supply and demand. Right now, there's increased demand for fabric and dye and decreased supply. So I've been able to keep up. Pretty much when I'm running out is about the time that my distributor gets another shipment from Zweigart in. But I do on occasion run out of a fabric. So if you are looking for something and it's not popping up, that would be why. Sometimes I'm having to wait. And also with dye, I was checking my dye supplier and I wanted to reorder a color and like, I don't know, they hardly have anything in stock and they're waiting for some more things to come in. So I can't pre-order that. I just have to wait and keep an eye on it. So colors may at times just not be available. So I just wanted to let you know so that you're aware that supplies, you know, it's not like they're never going to be available, but they're just limited right now. So if there's something that you want for a project you're doing soon and you see it, you should get it. And if it's not an emergency, then, you know, you'll probably be able to get it later without too much trouble. And this is not a problem that only is affecting me. Other dyers are experiencing this as well. So I just wanted you to be aware. If you'd like to receive notifications about when I have the larger updates and sometimes get sneak peeks at what's coming for new designs, you can sign up for my newsletter. And I always put a link below in the description of the video. So my updates are about monthly. I did do a preview of one of the new designs I'll be releasing for Christmas. I've been showing little sneak peeks on social media, and I did do one of the designs, a full view of what it's going to look like. So newsletter subscribers, you know, get peeks at things that are coming up and get, you know, some pretty good information. Alrighty, so I have one more thing to share with you, and then I will let you go and see you again soon. So I just wanted to mention I've been doing a fundraiser with my design Gathering Berries, and that is to help my niece Stephanie and her husband Justin and their family. They have 2 kids. Justin was diagnosed with cancer this year and has been receiving cancer treatment. So the profits from the sales of Gathering Berries have been going to help them with medical bills and expenses. Wanted to let you know that Justin passed away last week, and you know, he was only 35, so it's always hard to lose people, but it's a bit more heartbreaking to lose people when they're young. I want to say thank you to everyone who has shown support to me and my family, and want you to know how much it has meant to me and to them. to see all of these kind messages coming in, the prayers, people stitching the design, shop owners who have ordered lots of the design to try to help out, specifically Annie Miller from Crazy Annie Stitching and Jean Lee from The Attic are two shops that I know of. Want to thank them as well. So I just want you to know how much that has meant to us and what a comfort it has been for me to be able to help them financially with the sales of the design, and I will continue to do that as I had planned through the end of June next year, just to help them try to get back on their feet as they navigate this time without Justin. So I just wanted to let you know that that's what's been happening, and that's part of why I haven't been here to make a video for a while. I've just been trying to process it, so thank you. So yeah, I'll continue to send Stephanie notes of encouragement along with the monthly checks from the profits of the design, and I know that she's a very strong person and she'll get through this, and she has a lot of support. So I will be back soon, and in the meantime, happy stitching and take care.